The following is a compLexity production.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
This is the press conference, streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Oh, you don't be serious, man!
You've got questions, we've got answers. And now, your hosts, compLexity.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Skim. I'm the social media manager at compLexity Gaming and I'm your host for today. Welcome to another press conference. Super excited to be here. Unfortunately, we didn't have one last week, but that was due to various situations. But yeah, luckily we're back and we're back with the full roster because right next to me is Kyle Batista, aka Beef. How you doing, Beef?
I'm all right. I was here all weekend, unlike the rest of our entire panel, because you guys were all in Poland. Left me all by myself.
Yeah, we're going to call this episode the zombie episode because the three of us are still in European time and Kyle's been fighting a bit of an illness, so we're all kind of half asleep. So, you know, just to caveat before the show starts, this is the zombie episode.
There you go.
Yeah, we have a zombie special over there because, I mean, while Soren and I have been on Poland, you've also been to a different meeting yesterday, so you're even on a worse timeline now.
Got him Sunday afternoon, and we went to a meeting in Austin, Texas yesterday, so I'm a little tired of airports and airplanes. Been a busy few weeks. I haven't been on the show because did the DO conference. I had a fireside chat interview there in LA, and then the next week I was in Vegas to give an hour-long presentation about everything that we're doing here in compLexity, so I missed that press conference. And then last week I was in Poland. We didn't have the press conference. There was some facility issues going on, so the studio wasn't open. But I was out of town that weekend too, so it's great to be back for the zombie episode. And over to my right, we have the German sensation.
Yeah. It's Fantasy, aka
You didn't introduce him, by the way. I don't know who I'm saying.
The man who needs no introduction. Jason Lake. For those of you who don't know it, that one person that randomly tuned into this video that doesn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, right in front of me is our assistant general manager, Fantasy, aka Sören. How you doing?
Yo, I'm doing fine. I'm not jet lagged or anything.
That's what he says.
Getting used to flying. I just forgot that there's press conference today, so I didn't shave. So, to my millions and millions of fans out there, sorry.
You're just happy that somebody can actually pronounce your name.
Yeah, I'm like blushing a little bit, so the beard helps to cover that up. That's the first time in like 4 days someone pronounced it correctly.
All right, now that we are finally back on the back with the press conference, there's a lot to talk about. I mean,
let's get right into it.
As we alluded to, we were in Poland for the Katowice Major, or one of the big reasons was the IEM Katowice Major. CSGO happened. Our team attended. Unfortunately, we didn't get as far as we probably wanted to, but hey, it was still a great performance. Jason, talk us through the run.
Yeah, I mean, we had both Counter-Strike and Dota. We'll start with Counter-Strike. We're kind of in an interesting roster situation right now where we're on a temporary contract with Jordan Nothing Gilbert. And we went out to LA to the iBuyPower event that I referenced, I think, the last time I was on the show, which was challenging in many ways and didn't perform well. And then we ended up at E-League where we didn't perform well, again, with the roster that had barely played together. So we sent them over to Frankfurt, and they had a 9-day boot camp and played like 6-7 scrims a day for 9 straight days. So put in over 50 different scrims and really had time to get their act together and really strategize and figure out positioning and everything else. And came out, and all things considered, they played pretty well. Due to the way the ELO system was used at this major, we had to play Astralis first, number one team in the world. We got six rounds.
6 rounds, yeah.
Probably should have got 10 or 11, but they're just so damn good. They capitalize on any little tiny mistake.
They 16-0'd Cloud9, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't bad getting 6 rounds, really, the way those guys are playing. Then we had to go up against MIBR. We won the first half of Mirage, our terrorist side, which is supposed to be the harder side, 8-7. We just couldn't button it up on the CT side and dropped to MIBR. So now we're sitting at 0-2. And if you go 0-3 at the major, you get basically kicked out of the major down to the minor system again, and you got to start over from scratch pretty much. And that's something you really want to avoid. Like goal number one for each team that attends the major is just to make sure that you're in the next major. Because as long as you don't go that 0-3, you're going to be in a challenger stage. You're going to have stickers. Your players are going to have stickers. You're remaining in the conversation. You're remaining relevant. You're out there competing with the biggest names in global Counter-Strike. So our backs were definitely up against the wall, and we had to play Energy from North America, which was rated number 4 in the world, I think, at the time.
Right.
And we were a tremendous underdog. Nobody gave us any shot whatsoever. And in 2 close games, we came out and 2-0'd them. And it was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And I was jumping on couches and going crazy. Stan put up 45 as an in-game leaguer on Nuke, which is
It went off.
might be unprecedented. It was insane. And we were fortunate enough to really play great Counter-Strike and take down Energy, thus securing our spot at the next major in Berlin. Challenger, stickers, all that fun stuff. Give us a little bit of time to sort through what the roster is going to look like between now and then. And then for the next round this last Saturday, which is just a couple days ago, in some ways it feels like a year ago already. We were up against FaZe, another top 5 team in the world. A lot of people call them the Yankees because each player on that team is so incredibly skilled and extremely high paid. That they're, once again, we were an 82% to 18% underdog. Those are pretty stiff odds. And we came out and shocked people by basically kicking their asses. The first map on Cash, 16-8. And they battled back on Mirage. Again, our Mirage CT side, just like against MIBR, wasn't necessarily where it should have been. And went to map 3 on Dust 2. To be honest, I was telling Surin.
No.
We're not going to start.
I was going to stick with Soren.
Boy.
I was telling Soren before the game, I wish it wasn't Dust 2. Our Dust 2 hasn't always been the strongest, and playing Europeans on Dust 2 is always very challenging. It's often just who has the better aim, but we battled. And realistically, anyone who saw that game knows we should have won that game. We lost an eco round, had a couple bad breaks, and lost in the very last round, 16-14. I think, it was really great to see the guys battle, and they battled hard. They should have won. They didn't, but we secured our challenger spot for the next go-round. Overall, we would have liked another win or 2, but when you look at where we are in our evolution of this division with kind of this temporary roster to go in to take Energy out, to damn near beat FaZe, there's a lot of positives coming out of the event for Counter-Strike, and we'll go from there.
Several people called that matchup, us versus FaZe, one of the best series of the tournament thus far.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely the best series of the tournament so far. Yeah.
You
it
guys-
was incredibly stressful, and Soren and I were going a little crazy.
Well,
but
one of us was going very crazy.
yeah,
That's what I was going to ask. You guys were there with Jason Lake watching our players play at a major inland. That's a rare experience. What was it like being around him? What was he like? No filters.
Just from my experience, I've experienced him at Rocket League before in London, and I was wondering, all right, this guy, he's still in it. After all these years, like every goal is still so something that he's so passionate about. I was impressed. But in CS, he doesn't hold back. And yeah, there was I'm pretty sure this is what you're going to talk about. There was like a small FaZe crowd, where like 10, 50 people are really chanting. But I'm pretty sure he matched them in volume.
Yeah. So every single time we won a round or got a frag at the start, at least, he jumps out of his seat. There was like a massive space between the stage and the seating, so he had enough time to just walk it off. He sits down for every round. He fist bumps me. He takes a sip of water, and this routine stayed the same for all 30 rounds of everything. And it's just like, the next map, I was gone for the start because I had to take care of my Dota guys, and Zach stayed there. And so Zach was built into this routine of the fist bump circle.
Z-Freak.
Yeah, Z-Freak.
so it was Soren, then it was
So midway through that, a fan just taps him on the shoulder and wants fist
he wants him.
So he got introduced into this circle, but only if we won the round.
Yeah.
And then
Well, you lose a round, be like, you got to wait around.
At
So
the-
it goes Soren, Zach, and then depending.
So it's a
fan.
ritual.
Shout
At
out
the-
to this fan. He was cool.
At the end of the second map, he's running out of water. So his water sip routine before the fist bumping is completely thrown out of whack. He sprints away in the pause of this between second and third, gets another water bottle. And those are not like big water bottles, just like this. So for 30 rounds, he has to portion them.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
before,
the
That's a
rations.
small
he
sip.
believes in this this routine
routine.
so much. He literally like fake sips, puts it down, fist bumps, and like there's no way that water lasted for 30 rounds. But Yeah, it's
Yeah, it was
an experience.
It was something else.
Would you say that you're a superstitious person?
In competitions, yes. In life in general, no. But when our teams are playing, I get very superstitious. Like there were games I didn't watch Dota. I was in the room and I wanted to watch, but every time I watched, there were like I watched the first 2 games, we 0-2 to Chaos. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
And then I didn't watch, and we like took a map off Nips. I'm like, So the rest of the event, like I wasn't watching, hoping we would win, and I'm dying to know what's going on, but I didn't want to jinx it.
I didn't catch the first half of the Alliance game. I come back, we're up 20-something K. 10 seconds into me watching, we all of a sudden throw it all away, and like 2 minutes later we've lost the game, and I'm like, I gotta stop watching.
Yeah, the funny caveat here is that some player management of Dota, a couple of suites, sat down next to you for the first map. And a couple of days earlier, they gave me shit for just like being super nervous when my team plays. I'm just pacing up and down, never sitting. And they look at me like, oh, you're actually the calm one here. It's like, yeah, it's roughly that.
Yeah, I tell people that know me well, like I guarantee you someday I will drop dead during a Counter-Strike game. That'll be it. It'll be like a stroke or a heart attack or something, and that's how I'll be remembered because I get really into it. I've always got into it. And I think the day that I can genuinely watch one of our games and my pulse doesn't change, that'll be the day I retire.
The end.
That'll be
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you sat next to me at the Shanghai Major, and I punched you a bunch.
Oh, that was at TI.
Oh, was that TI?
You punched me at TI.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you dislocated my shoulder at TI.
I
And
was just, oh, we gotta kill it. Let's go.
at the Shanghai Major, you and Josh were just like hyperventilating in that game against the Lions when the arrows hit on the OD Marana combo,
game 3 versus
and we were
Alliance.
up pretty significant by
Yeah.
the 10-minute margin, and I was there to like calm you guys down, saying, hey, this is still like a lot of Dota left to be played, while you guys were basically already running upstage trying to get the trophy.
Yeah,
And speaking of Dota,
yeah.
What a segue.
What a segue.
What a segue. What a segue. Yeah.
Need a host?
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. I'm pretty sure I'm just here to pronounce it incorrectly.
That's true.
Yeah, speaking of Dota, we were there for ESL One Katowice. We're in Group B, had a rough start, but bounced back. Søren, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so the first day was against Chaos and NIP, which I think by far everyone kind of saw as the 2 of the 3 best teams. I think Fnatic fits in that same group, and then the Lions and Asterisk were kind of on our level. If we wanted to advance, we had to beat those. So the Chaos game, they play very fast. They play a little bit weird every now and then. We is just an incredible player. HF is really good. King RD, we know from back in the days. Misery is a great captain, so there's no shame in losing to them. NIP, Peter is a great captain. We came back with a really good Naga game in game 2. Got
Miracle Naga.
Got one game.
Naga.
Got one game on the first day, which was maybe a little bit above like what we expected, because NIP had been really hot. Chaos, no one really knew outside of the major qualifier. Second day we came in with a little bit more expectations. Like the Alliance game, we thought we can take. Then the 20,000 network swings happened a bunch of times.
See, I love watching Dota with Mr. Jason Lake because it's like CS:GO. He understands completely. Dota, he's just like, what happened? We were up 20 kills.
why is this wizard killing all of us?
What happened to this anti-mage guy? What's going on? So yeah, explaining the spikes of a game like Alliance Game 1, where we were down 25k, then up 25k, then down 30k, and the game was over in the span of 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So unfortunately, didn't quite secure that comeback.
Yeah, that was a rough one, but the team bounced back. We took the second game. I went into the Fnatic game. I can't remember the first Fnatic game, but the second one was pretty good on our side. So we went into the last day having to win one map against Aster. And what can I say? Aster plays very patient, very sitting back, waiting for mistakes to pounce on, and we're still we're still very inexperienced. I broke the studio, sorry. We're still very inexperienced with that, like our high ground approaches, our timings and stuff. That just comes down to like knowing everyone needs to be on the same page. And this team sadly still doesn't have a lot of time to practice due to various issues. So they could just punish us, and we lost. I think we were up in the early game and the mid game twice, and then just tried to break high ground. We basically ran our heads against the walls, and sadly we did not break through. And that was the end of the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the thing to take away here from that, though, is that similar to CS, our team, maybe they didn't start out the best way, but they kept improving. Like I think from Dota, especially when you watch the first match versus, what you watch maybe like versus Fnatic, a completely different roster almost.
I mean, yeah, that's what we've been seeing with this team when we actually can get them into the same room, in the same country. Like they're rapidly improving. Like every day they can figure something out, and they are very good at adapting to the situations. They're very good at analyzing themselves and not taking, blame or criticism personally.
Yeah, what you're referring to are the visa issues. We've had a lot of struggles with immigration and delays and having people in different countries because we can't all have them in the United States. That's kind of what he's referring to for those who are like, what's he talking about?
Oh yeah, while you were gone, Beef went on a on a 5-minute monologue.
It was Beef's Visa Corner, our favorite segment of the show.
Visa Corner.
Yeah, there's probably going to be more installments of that down the road.
Forever.
Ignoring visas aside, although actually for this one, visas are probably going to be necessary again. Because coming up, we have a new.
They're simple visas.
See, I looked at the sheet and there was auto chess, and I was like, what is happening with auto chess and visas?
No. This one I accidentally deleted from the doc before I printed it. But
Fired. Bring back that.
We've been invited to another ESL event.
We did.
ESL One Mumbai.
Invited to ESL One Mumbai. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to going to India. I love ESL events. I don't know. We don't know who else we're gonna face there.
Well, thus far,
NIP and Alliance are announced thus far. Gambit are announced too. So the finalists of Katowice are making an appearance. So should be a pretty fun tournament. But yeah.
Anybody want to go to India? I know that's on your bucket list. You said it.
It is on my bucket list. I don't expect to make it though.
I saw some details.
Traveling so much.
I saw some details of what they have planned, and I'm thrilled to go.
Awesome.
I wasn't really thrilled to go when I first saw it pop up, because there's like a very good chance that there's going to be an 18 to 20 hour flight involved, and my kneecaps are really not appreciating any of that. Not in a row, but like the total travel time. There's going to be there's going to be like a Dallas Singapore flight
probably like
or something.
30 hours.
Yeah. There's going to be like the 16-hour flight there in again, and I will ask for upgrades.
He went from, I guess I'm going to have to be in Mumbai to there's no way I'm not going to be in Mumbai.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were...
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. So we were about to play the qualifier, and then just got the invite. And then obviously we got the deck of what hotel we're going to stay in. And the first thing I see is this massive gym. And then I look at the Katowice gym that we had, which was basically a closet with one treadmill, 2 rowing machines.
Should have come to my hotel.
2 rowing machines and a strider, like a bike strider thingy, somehow mixed together, and that was the gym. And then I remembered what we had in Kuala Lumpur, which was a room temperature 140 with 100% humidity. So I'm looking forward to this event, just to work out. This is really all I do on events.
There you go.
All right, moving on.
When is that event?
It's I think I don't
April
know
20th.
I think April 19th to 21st is the arena portion.
Yeah.
So we're going to be there on April 14th. I want to say is our flight. Don't quote me on this. There might be like some time zone stuff that we actually have to fly on the 13th or 12th or April 1st. Who knows?
You lose 2 days going there.
We lost 2 days going to Kuala Lumpur, but we might lose 2 days again.
We had a situation like that with a flight recently. It's like get on the flight Monday morning, get off the flight Wednesday midnight, like almost midnight. It's like, oh my God.
That's an oath. Right?
It's too much travel.
That's the move. All right, moving on. Very exciting news. It literally just happened like 3 hours ago, was it?
Yes.
Auto chess tournament.
Our second Dota team, the auto chess. So a few weeks ago, we announced here on press conference we were opening an auto chess division. At that time, that was a troll. It's still partially a troll. But we have players from other divisions that love auto chess. So we have streamers, we have Artifact players, we have Hearthstone players, we have MTG players that are all playing. Are there no MTG players?
No, there are no MTG players.
Well,
you got too excited.
3 other divisions have come together to also moonlight as auto chess players, and we have a champion.
We have a champion and a grand finalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So in the Beat Esports tournament that happened today, hosted by Moondog, superjj took first place, fought in the grand
JJ.
finals versus BSJ.
So he's now a champion in 3 different games. Let's just put that into perspective. Hearthstone, Gwent, and
Auto chess.
And if Artifact ever has any tournaments, he might win some of those.
I mean, and first of all, they need players, then they can have tournaments, I guess.
There you go.
So superjj took first, BSJ second, Crane fourth, which coincidentally is also 3 out of the 4 people that are going to play the BTS Staff Cup for us. So I like our odds in that one.
Yeah.
They're going to be accompanied by Waga as the fourth member.
Let's go.
And we're going to be a force to be reckoned with on the auto chess
Front.
scene.
I really feel like the foundations of this squad have been laid since 2014, since our adventure into both Dota 2 and Hearthstone. Since then, we've kind of made our way, and we're now at the peak of the mountain.
Perfectly situated.
Dota auto chess.
We have arrived.
We're recycling players. And
Speaking of which, there's been articles published about Valve supposedly buying the company that makes auto chess. What would you think about that? Like official Valve auto chess tournaments?
I don't know. I'm not the guy
that $20 million TI auto chess is going to be
auto chess
TI. Now we're talking. Hey, if we've got 3 out of the top 4, then I'm a big fan of this game. Let's rock.
Let's go.
I mean, there are already like fake games or like copies of this game on the market in China, and I want to say in like the Android store or something. So this game is taking off.
It's crazy. Dota's about to break 1 million concurrent players.
Yeah, they broke.
It's already like 20% higher than its previous concurrent.
They broke 5 million subscribers this morning.
That's pretty good, even though it's only 1/10 the players of Fortnite.
Ooh, the segue. I was thinking of the segue like that too, but
we're just gonna record an audio track of you saying my name.
I don't. How do you segue when I'm not here? I don't. I got to go back and watch the VOD.
The entire show falls apart.
I tell you.
Everybody just kind of stops talking. There's about 4 seconds of dead silence. It's like, move on. All right, on to the next topic.
Fortnite. What's up in Fortnite, Cold Beef?
Stuff. Let me read my notes here.
Stuff and things.
So one of the cool things that we had announced relatively recently, I guess it was a week and a half ago, we didn't do a show last week, Punisher.
Yes.
We officially announced our boy VV Punisher is part of the squad. He made his appearance the same day we announced him at the Secret Skirmish. So he was out there as a stand-in. And he had one of the most insane travel schedules that I've seen of a player in recent years. So he was out here with us. He was here for 3 days filming content, doing kind of onboarding and stuff. And then he flew home to his wife. As he got there, 20 minutes after he landed, he gets a call from Epic. They're like, hey, we need you as a sub for the Secret Skirmish. Can you get here? He drives 6 hours, gets there at like midnight or something like that. He then goes to sleep, wakes up, plays the next day, plays 2 days of Fortnite, gets on a flight at midnight after the second day, flies to North Carolina, goes there, sleeps, then appears at the Panini event, which we'll talk about here, comes back after the Panini event, goes to play qualifiers at a local LAN center, gets on a flight that morning, and flies back to his home in California.
What about his car? Did he leave it in L.A.?
He left it in L.A. and then, oh, that's right. He had to fly back to L.A., drive his car back 6 hours home.
He's a guy. He's super, as far as
Fortnite.
I know, he's super dedicated.
Punisher.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
Really excited to have him on board.
Definitely should check out his stream on Twitch. Just Punisher for now on Twitch. But yeah, awesome guy to watch.
He's awesome. Yeah, we had the Panini event going on as well. So Hogman as well as Punisher made it down to Charlotte, right? Charlotte? That sounds right.
It was Relay? No, it was
Raleigh?
No,
Raleigh? No.
it was Charlotte.
Charlotte. It was home of the Hornets. So he was down there near the NBA Finals and doing a really cool activation with Panini. So he was down there and he actually got to play with Julian Edelman. So both of them playing with Julian
Super Bowl
Edelman.
MVP.
Super Bowl MVP.
New England Patriots.
Who did he win against?
You can take it easy right now. I will jump this.
No, you won't.
Kyle's a closet Rams fan. That's
He's not.
What's
those who
closet?
don't
Not
get the
closet.
Jets.
Closet.
I'm trying to be nice. You
walk into
the star
our-
room.
I mean, we're all Cowboys fans here for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got our hometown allegiances as well.
Yeah.
Of course. The Cowboys-Rams game was a very difficult day for me.
Yes. Fortnite. Stay focused.
Fortnite, exactly.
This isn't the zombie episode. I'm renaming it. It's like the delirium episode.
It really is.
Super
We're all
Bowl
like
MVP.
kind of out of it.
It really is.
Julian
But yeah,
People are gonna watch this and be like, "What in the heck?"
getting back to the event was really cool. Hogman, Punisher, Edelman, they had a lot of fun. These activations are always a lot of fun. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
But for the big actual Hearthstone news, I would argue.
Fortnite?
That's
Fortnite news. My bad.
Delirium.
Very much delirium.
Building
For the big Fortnite news, Hogman and Mackwood teamed up this weekend, and that was mega.
Woo!
Yeah.
In the co-red tournament, and they just crushed it.
Yeah, man.
They won 4 out of 6 games, and then the fifth game, they didn't even play because they played the game without them, and they still crushed it.
Yeah, absolutely insane watching those guys. One of their first times ever playing together, and they just crushed. I mean, it was not the most star-studded event, but it still had some really big names, and there's some really solid competitors. A really impressive performance. And going into the final game, they already knew there was like 52 points to 14. Like, they would have had to have died immediately with 0 points, and the other team would have had to gotten 26 kills plus the win in order to win. Jeez. And so, I mean, you see
Crazy.
You see them there, they're like, everybody's afraid of them. Mackwoods doing time trials during the thing, completing like solo quests during the match. And they're just goofing around, and they still end up getting kills and the win in the final game.
That's awesome.
So
Good to see.
really hopeful that they're able to carry that momentum into the World Cup.
Also, big announcement happening last week. What, 30 million in prize pool to
30 million for the first event.
for the first event?
Yeah, incredible. So that's going to be coming up here in mid-April, for at least from my deductions, as far as I'm aware, every weekend for 10 weeks. Qualifiers, $50K just to qualify, $50,000 just
It's
for qualifying,
insane money.
and up to $3 million first
in
place.
prize money it's staggering. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Should be fun to watch.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But that's it for Fortnite now. We'll move on to Madden.
that was a shitty segue.
I know, I'm still learning. Zoran, walk us through Madden. Drini had quite the busy weekend.
Yeah, so we had the Madden Challenge is the next on the calendar, and there was an online portion, like 3-prong online portion, and he came to an end, I think 3 days ago or something. So
Friday, I think.
yeah, so he played 2 play-in matches basically to get into the group stage, or 3 play-in matches to get into the group stage, and then got into one of the harder groups, I would say. Joe Rice was in there, who was the Texans club champion. Strafen, who took second at the club championship, and then Books, who's like a very a veteran player, who was I think 4th or 3rd at the Madden Classic in 2017 or something. Like really, like a veteran in the scene. Drini came out on top, won his entire group, didn't lose a single game in that 6-game stretch, and now he's on to California, going back to the EA campus to defend his title at the Madden Challenge.
So that's coming up in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's on the
Drini.
15th to 17th, and he's going to face a bunch of really, really good players. Pavan is there, who's obviously just won the club championship. Kiff is going to be there. Goss is going to be there. Beast Mode Mac made it in there.
Yeah, let's go Beast Mode Mac.
Yeah, he's been absent for a while.
Yeah.
So it's a big tournament against. It's the 3rd major of the year.
You feeling like he has good chances? This is the defending title.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of the mode that the last 2 events I think are going to be played in. So it's going to be his club. It's not going to be the classic format or a cap system or whatever. This is actually draft, I think. I want to say this is draft. This is not, but this is as we talked about before, like all of the 4 majors are kind of different. That's why they haven't had repeating winners in the last year outside of Drini, who came really close to winning Madden Bowl and the challenge. But yeah, this is kind of his event, I guess.
Cool.
And he needs a couple more points to be qualified for the Madden Bowl, and then we have all 4 majors with our boy.
Looking forward to that.
Man is hype.
Speaking of hype, Tyler.
Oh my god.
I got it. I tried. There's more news in the Hearthstone realm. Let's start with Tyler off first. He has the Spring Championship coming up.
Yeah, Tyler is in LA currently, preparing for the last of the type of qualifiers or tournaments that they're going to run. With the new format being announced, he has already qualified for the World Championship. So it's basically he's playing for points for the Master System, and he's also playing for one of his friends, who's currently second on the last call list. So if Tyler gets into the top 4, his friend goes to Worlds with him. So that's kind of what
That's cool.
It's kind of what he's playing for. But yeah, he's facing a bunch of people that are obviously really good. I know Ike is there, Bunny Hopper and Viper made it again, who are already qualified. Fairly. That's AEEA. So he made it through. So it should be a very good tournament. I wonder if Blizzard does anything to kind of go take a trip down memory lane with it being the last format. I think they ran this format for like 3 years. And this one is the last one. And they obviously have the World Championships. And then we go to the Master, which I'm going to talk about now because I segue myself into this because our host is not doing it.
Still learning.
Yeah. So they announced the Master System, which I think they hinted at before.
Yeah,
they did.
In their announcement, they said there's going to be more to come, so we're waiting for yet another announcement that it might be pushed back. But basically, the Hearthstone Masters are replacing the HCT events more or less. So it's going to be more streamlined. It's going to be less events. It's not going to be the big Swiss events that you would see at like a DreamHack or
DreamHack's no longer doing Hearthstone.
DreamHack is
right?
not doing DreamHack did not get a Masters.
Gotcha.
They've run so many DreamHack events.
Yeah. So that was the announcement. I don't know if they get it Grandmasters or whatever, however that's going to work, or if they just like doing it similarly to how Valve runs the CSGO majors, that they give it to PGL, then Faceit gets one, then E-League, then ESL, yada, yada. So maybe DreamHack comes back next year.
Gotcha.
We will see. But
Very excited for that. I think that might make it a little bit easier for people to follow the Hearthstone esports scene.
I think it's also going to make, like, they have a new competitive format now, too. So you have to learn less decks. Like, it's not going to be the same decks over and over again because you have, like, a more challenging deck building stage, I guess, because you have one class, you build 3 decks for that one class, and so you kind of have to account for everything with those class. They call it the specialist format. I've heard mixed reviews. I know that Casey is super excited that he now can just load up Rogue whenever he wants.
There you go.
So like he thinks it's gonna, have or create a higher skill gap just because you can basically change 10 cards, I think, from your class, and so you have to build 3 decks and 10 card different. In total,
it's 5.
Yeah, it's 5 and 5,
deck,
so it's 10.
And again, I think anything that makes makes the scene easier to follow is going to be beneficial because, I mean, as deep as in esports as we all might be, I think some of them are a little bit more difficult to follow.
Yeah,
if you're not super into it. So
it's also much better for the players. You're not traveling to a DreamHack tours in the middle of nowhere in France, or you take a trip over the Atlantic to play in Philadelphia or in LA or whatever for
3 games.
A couple of points. You get out, you go out 0-3, and you play, like, if you win, you get $2,500, I think, and the majority is on the point side. And now these events are like I think $250,000 for the LA for the Vegas event. So there's actually like more.
There's a lot of money.
Yeah, more money involved, which always gets like casual fans a lot more involved when they hear. Yeah, the press is gonna like it a lot more.
$50,000 Grand Prix is like.
Yeah.
But why though?
I hate that phrase. you cannot believe how much I hate that phrase.
All right.
I apologize.
That wraps up our Hearthstone topic, and with that, we can finally move on to the Q&A.
Well, before we do, I do just want to tease, and I haven't told anybody here that I'm teasing this, but by next week's press conference, we will be able to discuss a very big announcement here at compLexity. A new division.
Dun, dun, dun.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Remind me to talk to you about it this afternoon.
Yeah, and something you know what's going to happen now? Something happens, and it's going to get bumped back. And next week, you're going to be like, I'm sorry.
So about that tease.
See, you got to tease, Beef.
Well, just cut me out of the episode.
Yeah, we're going to have to edit
entirely.
It out. Edit Beef. Edit Beef.
All right, let's move on to the Q&A portion. Before we get to the questions, as always, if you ever have a question for us, feel free to hit us up either on Discord or on Twitter with the hashtag coLPC. We're always looking forward to answering fan questions, especially when they're about, what did our team play last week? Why did certain things happen in that map or whatever? So yeah, feel free to hit us up. And the first question from a regular, King Monster on Twitter.
King Monster.
Reports came out saying Tarek may be moving to NRG. So if nothing decides to move on, who's at the top of your list to take that spot? Jason.
We're definitely working on Counter-Strike, see what we're going to do. Jordan has not yet decided if he'd like to continue playing or go back into retirement, which was the original plan. So definitely no hard feelings if he decides to do that. I don't think it's any secret that we made a pretty aggressive offer towards Tarek before the major. That offer included a sizable signing bonus, a great salary, and a lot of flexibility. Think the world of him. I think he's super talented. Right now, I want to be careful I comment properly out of confidentiality because I'm not exactly sure what's public yet. But we won't be moving forward with Tarek right now. So yeah, if nothing decides to go back into retirement, we have decisions to make. It's also no secret that we're a fan of Sam. He's on our radar. We're looking at a couple other players that I'm not super eager to kind of throw out there right now because as we recruit players and we approach players, there's other teams. So like holding up a big sign saying, hey, we're really interested in this guy, isn't necessarily the best strategy moving forward. But yeah, we're evaluating the scene. I expect there to be some turnover after this major completes here in the next week. And we should have a lot of updates in the coming weeks about the Counter-Strike division.
Just as a sort of a follow-up, do you think there's going to be like a big shuffle after this major? Do you think
I think there's going to be a decent shuffle. I wouldn't call it big from what I'm hearing. A lot of the top teams are kind of finding their form. There'll be a couple changes that are being made. I don't expect it to be roster mania or anything like that. I could be wrong though. We'll see.
All right. Unlicensed from Discord asked, everyone's going to ask something positive about Katowice, and I'm going to ask if there's something you'd want to be changed at the event. I mean, all three of us were there. Do you think there's anything that was actually like so bad they needed to change it?
I mean, I feel like everything that I think we want to change and we talk to ESL about is not something that you can see on stream. It's just some like logistical things with media days being too long or stretched out, because you got to understand that like Katowice is at like 3 different locations. It's the Spodek, it's the MCK, and it's like some exhibition hall and stuff like that. So everything is like really spread out. You have to walk a lot. It's time consuming. So that was one of the issues. And then just stuff that inconsistent rule sets. Are we drafting with headsets on? Are we drafting with headsets off? The ESL booth is being open to the ceiling and stuff like that. It's like minor things that are all addressed, and I don't think anyone on stream definitely notices. So I don't think anything needs to be changed at the event in terms of format or anything. I think it was all very well done.
I'm going to turn this around then, because there weren't actually that many questions about Katowice in terms of like positives. But was there anything that you thought was really cool that stood out to you at the event that you've maybe not ever seen before?
Yes. On the Counter-Strike stage, they took my advice after over 10 years of me telling all the tournament organizers to do this. I'm partially kidding, but I really have been. Counter-Strike, has a row of 2 teams and 5 computers on each stand. And over the years, they've managed to cut down on the time it takes between matches by using SSDs that are already preset, and you slap those in, and the players can get set up. What I've always said is just put it on a giant, rotating circle, so behind the stage, people can get it ready, and when the match is over, you just spin it around, bam, everyone's ready, you can go right into another match instead of waiting an hour between matches and losing viewers. What they did is they made 2 circles and did exactly that, so they could just spin them around, and on the other side, all the players are already set up, ready to go, no downtime, and it was awesome.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I tweeted our team like spinning around.
I'm pretty sure you also posted the news that they're doing that.
Yeah, they did.
I
They did announce
didn't
it.
see either of
Yeah, they announced they're going to do that, and I mean, and I'm not joking. I've been saying this to event organizers for years. I'm like, I was suggesting just make the whole stage a circle, but they made 2, which is even smarter. And then, bam, you're ready to go. You're ready to play. No downtime, and that was awesome to finally see.
It looked really cool. I forgot about it because I only watched one game live, which was our game against FaZe, and I forgot that this happened. So no one was setting up, and I was like, "What is this delay? Do they have issues again?" And then all of a sudden, our things were there. I'm like, "Woo!"
Yeah, it's
Technology.
Look,
ESL overall does a
That's
great
awesome.
job. You could tell that they've done this before. The players have shuttles, and there's food, and there's there's training rooms in the hotel, and overall they do a really good job. They do a lot more things right than they do wrong, and they run a smooth event.
you can definitely tell by the way the pros also tweet about the event on social media. Like I remember Shaz tweeting after the event, like everything went flawlessly. Like when they go out of their way to just positively encourage TO, that's when you know they did a good job.
For sure.
And let's remember, the major's not over yet.
Yeah.
All the big things still could be to come.
True. They did announce that they plan on doing something awesome per stage, so probably they have something really big coming up too.
Cool.
All right, back to the Dota squad. @CO Infinite on Twitter asked, do you think your current Dota 2 squad can qualify for Tier 9 despite the lack of appearance in the past 3 minors and majors? Also, what made you guys decide to try new players from SEA?
I think we covered the second part before-ish. But to the first part of the question, we've been to 1 minor with our old squad. NV, Snaking, and those guys qualified for the minor in Sweden. Where exactly was it? Stockholm. Okay, yeah, in Sweden. Didn't make it that far, but we've not been absent from all 3 cycles. And I'm still confident. We talked about this earlier. Like every single time we get these people into one country in one room for more than a day, they're rapidly improving. You can see it throughout the tournament. You can see it throughout boot camps. You can see it if you look back the first time we brought these guys in before we actually signed them, like when we still had them on trial. You can see their progression in the games and in the tournaments, like going out early in the major qualifier, pushing it in the minor qualifier and losing a very heartbreaking fashion to then qualifying for the Katowice event, which we obviously just went to. And so I'm still confident. I'm pretty sure we still can do it through the major minor system, I guess, because there's still a lot of points to be given away, but
You win 1 major and you're basically through.
yeah. So I'm still confident in the squad if we can figure out the logistics of this entire operation and if we can secure the last missing visa. But yeah, and so the thing about Southeast Asian players was basically that we wanted to continue or wanted to work with Adam as our captain, and Adam had a couple of people in mind, and the most promising that we thought were Death and Miracle. So we decided to trust in our captain that we brought in to build a team for a long-term vision that we had, and so we settled on, or we decided on going with Death and Miracle.
All right. Next up, Oxy from Discord.
Oxy, what's up, buddy?
One of our fan elites. When will the Apex team be announced? Beef.
As soon as we have one,
Next week.
At some point, we will sign some people.
we are
actually.
looking at Apex players.
Yes. You will probably see somewhere where you can submit applications in the next day or so. But yeah, we've been looking at Apex basically for 2 weeks, probably, behind the scenes. It's a very impressive game. It's going to be interesting to see how competition works and how EA does esports within the game. It's going to be interesting to see how you're able to kind of recruit within the game, because right now it's very rudimentary. You're looking at KDAs, you're looking at pro scrims, which are kind of interesting in and of themselves, looking at people's competitive experience within other games. So it's a very interesting spot to be recruiting in, but we are looking.
And once again, I want to highlight, if you stream, that is always going to be more impressive than when you not stream, if you want to apply.
Absolutely. Yep. Streams catch attention.
Yes.
Do it.
Next question, also from Oxy. Who do you think will win this major? This applies to both Dota and CS. Obviously, the CS major is currently going on. DreamHack.
I'm going to go out on a limb for Counter-Strike and say Liquid wins this major.
Really?
I'm saying Astralis.
Astralis. Like,
the obvious answer is Astralis. That's why I said I'm going out on a limb.
Yeah, I got it.
No, I think Astralis is the best team in the world. They've been fighting flus, though. See if you got a little inside information. They've been feeling a little down. Liquid is really playing well. They've got that new honeymoon phase of they just added Stew. So that's why I said I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to call for Liquid to win it.
And we also had the personal issue with Dupree's father recently as well. So, I mean, who knows which direction
they've
that
had
shifts
some
it.
challenges and adversity right now, and they might they might win it.
You could also argue that already had a minor slip up, and that might be more indicative of more to come. I mean, they did drop him out to NRG, Renegades.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Where the hell did this Renegades team come from? I know they had, 3 out of the others, but
they got Gratisfaction or however you say it.
We saw them add the other APAC players, and we were just like, or Oceanic
worked
players.
really hard, I think.
And we were like,
looked great.
This looks like an okay team, and then they're just really good.
Else. Yep.
Zoran, you want to give a quick prediction on who do you think is going to win the Stockholm Major?
I think Secret looks incredible currently. The only team that I think can take them down, and I'm pretty sure I'm repeating Reddit here because I saw a thread about this, is Liquid. I won't count out PSG. They're not participating in a lot of these events, so they are basically just there for the minor major circles.
Maybe he's not playing with them anymore.
Maybe you should have told me that before.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I think it's going to be Secret. Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Secret is the safest bet.
Delirious.
They currently hold the highest win rate of any 5-sec in Dota 2 right now.
Yeah, they beat themselves.
They beat the highest LAN win rate. 75% LAN win rate.
Yeah. Wow. So I think Secret is probably the favorite. I wouldn't discount Liquid. EG always makes an incredible run out of nowhere.
And then stop at 3rd place.
But yeah, I don't know what's up with VP outside of playing Apex during draft.
I want to get your take on that. Like, so they were at MDL Macau, right?
Yes.
Yeah, MDL Macau. And during draft, 2 of the VP players were playing Apex Legends.
It was on camera.
You could literally see them on camera playing Apex Legends.
So we only
your thoughts?
So I wouldn't be really happy with it, but I don't know. Maybe it's an exercise in relaxation and
maybe
kind of gearing up. They're listening to music, just doing their thing, waiting to play. I can't pretend to know the nuances of their squad.
Some teams have very little involvement in draft. They just let the drafter just do his thing.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm just going to focus on me.
Yeah. So it could be.
All right. The last question from Oxy is, any word from Supercell about Season 2?
Definitely been in conversations with Supercell about a potential Season 2. I guess that's been announced that they are doing a Season 2 for Clash Royale. And, we're in negotiations about our continued involvement in the league. And we should have more updates, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks.
Good to hear that. One question, a very special submission from Scott. Outside of Dota and CS, what was the experience of being in Poland for a week?
I liked it. I love going to Katowice. It's it's a really nice place to be. This time it was sadly not as cold as before. There was no snow, so I couldn't throw a snowball at Lake. But yeah, I really like the city. I love the event. It's kind of, I always said this, like DreamHack is kind of the greatest event for a nerd because you have all the games coming like in the same area, and Katowice kind of feels the same. With CSGO being there, the Fortnite stage was massive. You have the Intel booths and all that kind of stuff out there to do signing sessions with. And it's like just everyone comes together. They might not be there for the same game, but they all love gaming. They all love esports. So Yeah, the food is really good and really affordable outside of, if you're only going to McDonald's, as the other gentleman might tell you.
I don't know what's happening here.
That's why
I didn't have a great experience with the food, but the people were really nice, and it was great to finally visit Poland. It was my first time, so yeah.
That's one off the bucket list then.
And a giant gym in my hotel, which was fantastic.
It
was the best hotel gym I've ever seen. I even tweeted it out.
I know, and you also talked.
I invited you to come over.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
I did. Okay.
I was fine with mine.
Let's end the delirium stream.
Can I ask a
Falling
question?
asleep.
Can I ask a question about Poland? This is one that I know
the salty
a
sidekick.
lot of our fans asked, and I was interested too. There was a lot of consternation about us picking Nuke versus Astralis. With you having been there with the team, do you have any insight on that? Why?
Yeah, I mean, Nuke is our strongest map right now with this roster, and we played other top teams in Europe really strong on it. Previously, before we played them, they had a couple tight 16-14, 16-13, so people were figuring out chunks in Astralis' armor. We figured they'd be preparing for, overpass or trying to, get ready for Inferno or whatever, and wanted to catch them off guard. They don't have a weakness. We're going to be like, all right, we're going to get him on this map. We're going to get him. It's like, no, it's Astralis. So we knew that the last thing they would expect would be Nuke. We prepared and stratted and counter-stratted and anti-stratted Nuke, and we were just ready to shock people and go straight for the jugular. I knew they were going to do it beforehand. My reaction, like everyone else's at first, was like, y'all are crazy. Astralis is undefeated on Nuke. They're like, no, we're going to get the first one. And obviously we lost, but we should have probably got 11, somewhere between 10 and 12 rounds was kind of what I think we should have got, but they are tough.
They're good.
They are tough.
Cool.
Hat tip. But yeah, that's why.
Appreciate that explanation.
And then if you look, we turned around and beat Energy on it, and the guys really been playing well on it, and so that was it. That was not my decision. That's a team decision with Matt and Peter, and they wanted to go for it.
Cool.
You could tell that the team was really well prepared, by the way. Like that strat on Cash versus FaZe. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Execute.
I want to do a piece of content around that execute. I'm going to try to make that happen.
Let's make it happen. All right, 2 more questions before we wrap it up from Variables on Discord. While it's an accomplishment to having a challenger spot, what do you think will it take to make a real run at the title or any title in international CS?
It's tough. You got to get 5 players who are all on the same page, good attitudes, and players that have the skill to compete at the highest level. Those players are very hard to come by in the investor-fueled industry that we're currently in, because there's so many teams out there with the money to afford them. I think our next move is really going to be to try to settle into a 5 and do our best to keep it for a long time, because in addition to personal skill, you really need such coordination at the highest levels. It's just super, super difficult. Games like Counter-Strike and Dota have been around for so long. People have been playing them for years, and they're played at an extremely high, sophisticated level versus some newer games they're still kind of figuring out. The meta changes more often. So that's kind of my take on it. We're just going to keep doing what we do best, and that's try to identify and grow the gamers that we've got and be opportunistic if there's any superstars that come along, like the Terex of the world. We made a run at him, made a very aggressive run at him. And, I think over the next 12 months, we are going to find, answers to that. And I know Variables has been with us for a super long time as a fan. And, he's been through championships and he's been through shitter teams. And I know he's anxious to get us back up there. And I hope when he saw us battling with FaZe and some of those things, he's renewed his confidence in our ability to produce a contender. And, I want fans like him to know that we are no way, shape, or form kind of like throwing in the towel. We're still just as aggressive on Counter-Strike as we were 10 years ago, and we're going to do what it takes to build a winner, and won't stop until we get there.
Like you alluded to, he's been with us through a lot, and that's why he also asked the second question. Will you plaque some worlds or any form of records that pro and collegiate sports do? Banners for undefeated CS seasons, the 2 major championships, stuff like that, COD Worlds.
For like the headquarters, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's kind of a cool idea. We're going to have different things in headquarters to kind of memorialize our history and pay homage to our legacy.